Last year, I spent over 175 days fixing my asymmetry, and I documented the entire process. Here's exactly what I did and how you can do the same fast. For reference, if you don't know who I am, my name is Oscar Patel. After interning at various myofunctional institutes, I managed to improve my looks by fixing the root cause, my health. I straightened my nose naturally without surgery. I expanded my palate and fixed my crooked teeth without braces. And I've done things like fix my asymmetry without using any external devices. And now I have helped thousands of others do the same and currently have the largest health-based paid community in the world. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. This is the photo that started it all. I'd already been trying to improve my looks and health for a year and a half straight, completely obsessing. I'd improve my gut, I'd improve my diet, I'd improve my circadian rhythm, train the muscles in my face, train my neck, even expanded my palate a bit, but I'd never been able to tackle my asymmetry. So how did I go about it, and how did I transform from this to this? First key thing that everyone needs to realize is your facial posture mimics your body posture. Your body isn't made up of 600 independent separate muscles. It's one interconnected system. If you pull on a muscle in your leg, that is going to affect the muscles in the top right part of your body, okay? Your body is completely interconnected. It moves as a system, and therefore it functions like a system. If you have lateral pelvic tilt, if you have scoliosis, if you have forward head posture, if you have flat feet, all of these things will throw your body out of balance and shockwave throughout, leading to an imbalanced neck posture, facial asymmetry, and your body being pulled out of alignment. If you have lateral pelvic tilt, this will literally mimic, in most cases, with a small form of a crossbite, which will as a byproduct shift your masseter muscles, develop them unevenly, which then means your entire face is out of balance. So you need to rewire your body posture, and this is step one. How do you fix your body posture? Well, it's very, very easy. Firstly, you need to identify the problems. You need to know your weaknesses. If you want to figure out whether you have anterior pelvic tilt, which is something that I had, you can do something like the Thomas test. If you want to figure out whether you have lateral pelvic tilt, you can do the ASIS height test. If you want to figure out whether you have flat feet, you can do the wet foot test, I think something like that. And if you have forward head posture, you can literally test this by standing against a wall and doing a basic wall posture test, okay? You need to identify your weaknesses in order to understand how you're going to go about fixing them. The general rule of thumb for all of these conditions, not conditions, but let's say weak points, is that you need to follow the RSS method. Release, stretch, and strengthen. Okay, for example, if you have anterior pelvic tilt or lateral pelvic tilt, you need to release the fascia within your body. Your fascia is a layer of connective tissue which goes throughout your entire body, and it is something that everyone neglects. It weighs over 20 kg. It affects the way you move, the way you function. It stretches the muscles. You cannot rewire your system without fixing the fascia. So you need to release the fascia, you need to stretch the muscles, and then you need to strengthen the muscles. If you follow this program, you will then be allowed to fix the problems, and if you combine this with having good, stable habits, you will get permanent passive results without having to do anything. You will rewire these weaknesses and everything will fall into place. The general thing I would recommend is I would do a 15-minute routine 2 to 3 times a week to tackle the problem that you have. I would then combine this with barefoot sprinting 2 times a week and mace bell training 2 times a week as well. You can do it all in one combined session, or you can spread it out. I do it all in one combined session, and to this day, I still do it 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, so we've tackled the base of all of this. If you all had perfect body posture from birth, asymmetry wouldn't develop in the first place because none of this is genetics, okay? You aren't a baby born with uneven eyes. You develop these things from a toxic modern lifestyle and improper habits. So we fixed the base of it all, the body posture. However, in order to get quicker, faster results and to rewire the damage that has already been done, you also need to tackle the most important thing, which is an asymmetrical palate, okay? Our palates are not fully symmetrical. As a result, one side is bigger than the other, and that means that your tongue will push upwards and outwards more on the side that is larger, which then means that the muscles on that side of your face develop further, your maxilla develops upwards and forwards, your sphenoid bone gets tilted out of alignment, and everything becomes messed up. So how do you fix this? Well, if you want to fix your asymmetrical palate, the easiest routine to use is firstly, you need to strengthen the muscles within your tongue. Your tongue is what provides upward and outward pressure on your palate, and obviously your tongue will be trained to push harder on one side because there's more space for it to do so. So therefore, you need to retrain the muscles within your tongue, the genioglossus and the hyoglossus muscle. There are many ways to do this. You can do a tongue tie stretch. You can stretch out your entire tongue with a towel. You can do isometric tongue hold. holds, which I know sounds nuts, but it's fundamental. Your tongue can apply up to 600 grams of force, and it only takes 20 grams of force to move a tooth. Your tongue is so powerful, you need to train it. Even though it technically isn't a muscle, it acts like a muscle. And then secondly, you need to combine this with thumb pulling and chin tucking. Thumb pulling isn't going to directly expand your palate unless your tongue is able to act as a natural retainer, but it will loosen the fascia, it will loosen the sutures, and it will provide temporary expansion. If you're then combining this with good permanent passive habits, you're going to be absolutely cooking. You'll see there's a very big theme here. You fix your body posture, and then you have to combine that with passive habits. You fix your palate, and you have to combine that with passive habits, because all of this will revert back to baseline if your habits aren't good. Health and looks is a game of habits. How do you do thumb pulling and chin tucking? Well, I've got many videos, my friends, lads and ladettes. Okay, you can go check out those videos. I've got demonstration videos, I've got explanation videos. You can even join my school community if you want a personalized plan and you want to work with me directly. The link is in the description. No pressure to join if you don't want to, but you've got all of the information at your disposal, so you can check out those videos. That will provide even pressure on each side of your palate. The side of your palate that is less developed will have to work harder under the same amount of force, which means your palate becomes symmetrical. You combine that with strengthening your tongue, so it can provide pressure on each part of your palate, and over time your palate will become symmetrical, and therefore your face will become symmetrical. And this moves perfectly into step 3, which is tackling the muscles within your face. And this is where it gets very important. This is mostly temporary, but it is exceptionally fast if you do this properly. Most insecurities, or the reason that you're haunted by the inverted filter, is because of muscle imbalances. Obviously, all of this is structural, which then means that the muscles develop improperly. You can fix this in the short run very easily by training the muscles. That doesn't mean chewing harder on one side. That doesn't mean sleeping on one side. It doesn't mean trying to outsmart your body. It means working in tandem with them. You can do myofunctional exercises to tackle this stuff very easily. For example, if you have an uneven smile, you can do things like the CPS exercise to strengthen the orbicularis oris muscles, which are the muscles responsible for smiling. As a result, you can do the exact same thing with your masseter muscles. If you get full masseter muscle engagement and you begin to chew properly, this will then balance out the strongest muscles within your body and your jaw, which are your masseter muscles, and therefore will make your face and jaw appear more symmetrical. You can do the exact same thing. If you have one eye that is lower than the other or is slanted down, you can do orbicularis oculi training to train the outer muscles, which pulls your eyes more tightly and makes them appear more symmetrical. This isn't structural, but it is exceptionally effective. And if you shift the muscles over time, this will also shift the bones, because shifting the muscles leads to shifts in osteoblasts, which then allows new bone matrix to be developed. So do not underestimate the importance of training the muscles. Okay, we are now moving into the final part of this video, so I'm not going to waste too much more of your time. A lot of the melons have clicked off this video, but this is where the real gold dust is. So if you stayed, let me break this down for you. There are also a load of really easy passive things you can do to tackle this stuff super effectively. And I haven't mentioned it in the video just because it's kind of all encompassing, but the easiest and quickest fixes are in the habits. How do you retrain the habits? What are the easiest solutions? Well, the most important thing is you must be sleeping with zygo tape every single night. This will balance out muscular tension while you sleep, which means that the muscles get engaged evenly. This allows your tongue to provide more even pressure against the roof of your mouth. Not only does it balance out the muscles, it also helps balance out the asymmetrical palate, and it is fundamental. At the same time, another key habit is also training your neck. Your neck supports your head. If you don't have developed neck muscles, then your neck cannot go upwards and forwards, which means that there will be imbalanced craniofacial development if one side of your neck is more developed than the other, or if your posture is bad. Your posture is everything. And finally, and this may be controversial, but you should not be sleeping on your back. Everyone thinks this is going to avoid asymmetry, but the root cause of asymmetry is uneven tongue posture, which creates an uneven asymmetrical palate, and you cannot have your tongue against the roof of your mouth if you are sleeping on your back. This doesn't mean you need to sleep only on one side. You can switch sides, etc. But you should be sleeping on your side. You should be sleeping with zygo tape to ensure even muscular tension, and you should be sleeping with your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Otherwise, you'll never fix the asymmetry you currently have. Your face will never develop upwards and forwards. This is fundamental. That is everything. I hope this was a good video. If you want to work with me directly and you want a personalized plan to tackle all of this ASAP, you can join the community. The link is in the description. I respond to every single message personally. I know it's kind of insane, and I'm probably reaching the point where I'm going to have to close off the community and not allow anyone else in, because it's so hard to keep up with all of these messages. It's the foundation of the community. It's what I love doing. And so if you want to join, shoot me a message. I'd love to have you inside, and I will see you in the next one. Stop being absolutely cooked. Take action. You got this.